YouTube family? Gonzo coming at you here from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, Walmart distribution center. Kind of got the short end of the stick on this one. I decided to take this load. It only paid about $700, but it's a drop and hook at both ends, and it was I could drop it off ASAP, so I figured it'd be a quick turnaround load. But I got caught up in some serious rain last night. I had already been up all day, and I was just tired, so I said I'm gonna park it. And then I get here tonight or earlier today, and it's currently 7:51 local time. So I've been here about an hour or two, and
2 hours and 55 minutes of remaining drive time.
good to know. Anyway, so I get here, drop my loaded. It's right there. That's my loaded trailer. Anywho, so I drop my loaded trailer, and there's no empties. I get with dispatch, and dispatch says, "Well, you're just gonna have to wait there for an empty." I'm like, Problem is, this Walmart distribution center isn't a 24-hour Walmart distribution center, so everybody here is gone for the day. They are done unloading for the night, and they will not start unloading trailers until tomorrow morning, 600. So, just between you and me, I'm gonna sit here. I'm bobtail. I'm parked in front of the office, so there's a restroom and vending machines there. I have leftover Panda Express from earlier today, and I'm just gonna sit here unless somebody comes and knocks on my door and tells me I have to leave. So I'm gonna Tom Hanks it. Just gonna live here for a bit unless somebody tells me I can't. But I wanted to make this video, and you know, it this is kind of geared towards the prime PSD and TNT students and people going through orientation. I'm trying to figure out why my hat. Oh, okay, duh. I know it's because the camera's over here on this side of the phone, not in the middle where I'm actually looking. Anyway, I think that ought to help a little bit. Anyway, so I get asked the same question a lot. I hear, I read this question on Facebook almost daily, whether it's in the Prime Inc. PSD TNT Students Facebook group, the Prime Inc. Professional Driver group, or any of the other Prime based Facebook groups. I read the same question over and over again. And it's three questions. First is, how much money do you make every week? The second is, company or lease? The third is, what kind of truck should I get? So it's kind of it's kind of a bad situation if you're asking these questions, because first and foremost, everybody's situation is different. You ask the same question to 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers most likely. So I'm not going to give you an answer. The most common answer to how much money you make every week is, don't look at it on a weekly basis. So last week me personally, Gonzo, was negative by like $5. Um, and I had taken a bit of home time. I was home for like a day and a half. It kind of, cut into my week a little bit. Actually, that was the week before last. Then it's currently Saturday. Yesterday I got paid, and I made the most money I've ever made in a single paycheck. So the most common answer is, don't look at it as weekly, look at it as monthly, blah 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 blah. Um, but I will not say that. Don't look at your paycheck on a weekly basis. Don't look at your paycheck on a bi-weekly basis. Don't look at your paycheck on a tri-weekly or monthly basis. Don't even look at your paycheck on a quarterly basis. Look at your pay as little as possible. And that's going to tie into question number two. Should I go company or should I go lease? Lease has its advantages, company has its advantages. They are two different solutions for different people in different situations. If you have a family and you have kids and you need the health insurance, then you know what? Company is probably going to be the way to go. If you have no kids like myself, but you're married and you're trying to provide for your family, lease is probably going to be the way to go. You will make a little more money on the lease side. You can make considerably more money on the lease side, um, but you're responsible for more. You were responsible for more for the truck. You're responsible for your taxes. You're responsible for a lot more. So that's one thing to consider. Company has its advantages too. I cannot speak to it because I've never been company. The moment I upgraded out of TNT, I went lease and got Esperanza here. Excuse me. Anyway, so don't worry about it. That's the basic gist of the answer to that one. Company or lease, don't worry about it. And the last one is the least relevant one. What kind of truck should I get? Worry less about that than the other two. That's the least thing you should be worried about. You want to know what you should be worried about? I'm going to tell you what you should be worried about. Worry about backing the truck as much as humanly possible. If you're on your shift and you're stopping at a truck stop for a 30-minute break, you know what? You have 30 minutes. Keep that sucker under 5 miles an hour and back into a spot two or three times. Back, if you're in a spot like right here at this Walmart, I don't have a trailer right now, but let me show you. I got one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 spots to my side here, and they are all open. So what would keep me, if I had a trailer, from practicing? Absolutely nothing. Now, what would keep you from going in there and throwing down? Absolutely nothing. You could. You could go in. You could practice back in here all night. If you were in my situation, you're gonna have to spend the night here. Practice backing it in, right? Practice on backing that truck. Get comfortable with that truck. Learn how to back, learn how to judge it, learn what to look for. I can't tell you what to look for because what I look for is what I look for, and it might be different for you. You know, you got some people like who sometimes do this, don't do that, but you have some people who do that. You have some people who open the window and stick their head out the window, and that's cool. You have some people who don't open the window and they just use their mirrors and they're wizards and they're full of black magic and they eat. They live off the feeding on babies' dreams and such, and that's awesome. That's cool. That's good for them, but it does not work for everybody. Practice backing, practice hooking that trailer the right way. Learn your reference points. Learn everything you need to learn. Learn how to work your macros. Learn how to do everything you need to do on this Qualcomm to make this job possible, right? Learn how to communicate with your fleet manager, okay? The moment I knew there was no empty trailers here, I was on the horn to dispatch saying, hey, there's no empties. What do you want me to do? So they told me I had to wait here. Okay, I will wait here until I'm asked to leave. If I'm asked to leave, if something else pops up or you hear of an empty trailer somewhere near me, let me know. I will go pick it up. Communicate with dispatch. Basically, instead of worrying about what other people make, instead of worrying about whether you should go company or lease, instead of worrying about what kind of truck you should get, worry about learning the skills that you're going to need to be successful. Now, listen to me when I tell you. I'm straightening out, so you know I'm serious. If you learn what you need to know to be successful as a solo driver, the money, And all the other questions that you may have will fall into place. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get this particular truck, shouldn't get that particular truck, or you should get this truck. I'm saying right now, as you're going through PSD and TNT, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should go company or you shouldn't go company. I'm not saying you should go lease or you shouldn't go lease. I'm saying you need to find out what's best for you. Because what was best for me was going lease. But that was for me. That might not be your ideal situation. And I'm definitely not saying don't worry about your money. What I'm saying is if you're able to do this job relatively well, the money will happen. Everything will fall into place. You just have to learn how to do it. Right now, if you're going through PSD, if you're going through TNT, you're going through Prime's basic training. You're going through boot camp. You're going through trucking boot camp. Ask anybody who's ever been in the military. Boot camp sucks. Basic training sucks. Okay? It's designed to suck. It's designed to be a giant suck fest full of suckiness that's supposed to draw out your weakness. Okay? Right now, you need to be worried about learning the skills that you need to be successful in this job. Now, yes, backing. Yes, being efficient with your clock. All that good stuff. But also little things that you're not aware of. You need to get used to the fact that every time you sit behind this wheel, your goal should be I'm going to move this truck 500 miles down the road today, a minimum. Now, it's not always going to happen, but that should be your goal. Some days you'll get 300. Some days you'll get 200. Some days you'll get 650. It'll happen. Trust me. I've been there. Some weeks you and your trainer will cover 5,000 miles. Some weeks you'll cover 7,000 miles. It can happen. You need to learn how to drive a full shift. You need to build your stamina. You need to build your ideal driving environment. Okay? So let me break this down to you right here. Okay? I'm gonna flip this around. There you go. So my GPS is constantly giving me information. So is my Qualcomm because it's usually set on GPS. Over here, this is off when I drive, but this is where my entertainment comes from. My audio books, my podcast, I set them when I start driving. I set it and forget it, let it run. My GoPro is for any driving footage you may see. It has voice controls and all that good stuff. This is my driving setup. My phone is usually right here. We'll put it over here for now, actually, so there's less steering wheel on the shot. So you need to come up with your own ideal driving environment. What is best for you when you're driving? You know, where do you want your things to be? You might not be able to do that on your trainer's truck, but you can have an idea. I'll tell you what, I have my truck set up 99% the way my original trainer, Trucker Crespo, Mr. George, had his truck set up. Why? Because that's how I saw. That's what I saw. So since that's what I saw, that's what I get used to. That's what I did when I got my truck. Right now, you need to be concentrating on all these things. And company or lease, how much money you're going to make, and what kind of truck you should have. Don't worry about that. Put that effort into doing this job. You know, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. If you don't feel you're ready to get out of your trainer's truck, first of all, second of all, if your trainer is willing to keep you on the truck for longer, stay on that truck. Stay on the truck as long as you need to in order for you to feel ready when you get off that truck. Because if you're going solo, you can be on that truck for 80,000 miles. Ask me how I know. I was on a truck, well, three trucks, for 80,000 miles of TNT. I left. I had to leave Prime for a little while, for a couple of months, but I ended up coming back and doing another 30,000 plus. So I actually did like 85,000 miles of TNT. So I was on the truck for 80,000 miles, and for the last 20,000 miles of that, that's when I realized I'm ready to do this job on my own. And there was a long process of there was a long conversation with the training department to let me upgrade at 30,000 miles, but I had already done 50,000 miles before. This was before they changed the mileage requirement. Actually, just a couple of weeks before. But I was ready. And even for somebody that felt he was ready, because I thought I was, I still had a bit of a time adjusting because you're used to running team. And running solo is vastly different. So when you're running solo, you can't check your Qualcomm messages and read them. The Qualcomm reads them out for you. And let me tell you one thing. Lola here is not very good at reading. She's worse at reading than I am, and I have very severe dyslexia. Okay? Okay. All right? You don't know how to manage your clock as a solo driver when you get out of your trainer's truck because you're used to running as a team. You're not used to trip planning the same way because you've been on a team truck. You need to plan out your trip so that you can have a place to stop and sleep so that you're not sleeping on the side of a road on an exit ramp or an entrance ramp. All these things you're going to have to learn after you get out of your trainer's truck. So why would you complicate your own thought process with things that don't even matter at this point? Stay on your trainer's truck as long as you have to. And if you have to get off of your trainer's truck, if your trainer says, bro, I'm done with you, leave, then reach out to somebody on one of the Prime Facebook groups and try to get on somebody's truck that will let you team with them for a little bit so that you can have some more miles under your belt. Find somebody that'll let you run super single with them. So where you can run as a solo driver but with a teammate there to back you up. You know, it's possible. It's doable. It's there's nothing that will hold you back if you want to do this. But I've said this on Facebook before. I promise you, it's worth it. I'm not just saying that. I, Gonzo, am personally promising you, stick with it. Get through it. It's not easy. It's hard. That's what she said. Sorry. It's difficult. But if you get through it, I promise, company or lease or or whatever you do, company, lease, regardless of whether you get an international, a poorly built, or a freight shaker, regardless of any of that, it's worth it. That's all I got to say. Just stick with it. And if you're having a hard time, go on the Facebook group, find one of my posts and tag me and talk to me. You need some motivation to help you get you through it. If I can help you, I'll help you. I'll put myself out there like that because you guys might not know what it's like not knowing if your bills are going to get paid this week, this month. You guys might not know what it's like not knowing if you're going to have enough money to feed your wife. I do. They've opened me up 3 times for back surgeries. I was only employed for the first one. The recovery process was long and hard, and they told me I would probably never be back to full functionality, but here we are. I have been through hard times. I'm not demeaning, I'm not belittling your hard times. I'm just saying some of you guys don't know that struggle. You know struggle, but you don't know that struggle. Some of you guys have never been so broke that you can't get food stamps. I know that. I've been there. And I promise you, it's worth it. Just get through it. Muscle through it. Push through it. Find an excuse to get through it. And once you're in your truck, lease, company, regardless of the brand, and you're making that money, you go on Facebook or you come on YouTube. You find me on Facebook or you come to this video on YouTube and you comment, Gonzo, you were right. This last week, this Friday, I made more money in 1 week than I used to make in a month and a half of my highest paying job before coming to Prime. Think about that. A month and a half versus 7 days, and I made more money. And I didn't kill myself. I only drove 2,800 miles. It wasn't rough, but it wasn't insignificant, but it wasn't rough. It's possible. It's doable. You can and will succeed as long as you just get through it. But I'm going to stop yapping so I can go lay down. If you have any questions, comments, reach out. We'll figure something out. Love, peace, and chicken grease, my friends. Like, comment, subscribe. Ring the bell. All that good stuff. That's a shout out, David H. David and Melissa, I love y'all. All right. You guys go subscribe to my trainer, Trucker Crespo. Just Trucker Crespo. Um, excuse me. He released a great video not too long ago that I helped him out a little bit with, talking about, so you want to be a trainee for Prime Inc. And he made some really great points. So that's all I'm going to do. This video has kind of gotten long-winded, so I'm going to cut it right there. I will catch you guys later. I'm Gonzo. Bye.